Welcome to another episode of the Happy Friday Committee, Happy Friday Committee Mindset. Today we have a special guest, interim principal Shennel McCullough. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am excellent. I am excellent. I am excellent. I heard so many good things about you and the things that you do as
Wow.
a principal, and I wanted to get your perspective on the Happy Friday Committee mindset, which is being fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful. And I wanted to frame this in what you do, your occupation as a interim principal. I know that is a big job. and and I know the effect that you have in as far as being fearless and
Yes.
taking on that role. So, would you describe to me what fearless means to you and being a principal?
So fearless means to me taking a chance and not knowing what's on the other side.
Mm,
Um, a lot of times we have a goal in mind, and I am one of those people who is truly goal oriented. Okay, I want to do this by this age. I want to be this place by this age. This is where I want to be in my career. This is what I want for my family. All of those portions play a role in being fearless. And so not knowing what's on the other side, which is kind of hard as a person who has these goals in mind. This is where I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to achieve these things. This is exactly what I will need. And so not knowing what's on the other side and just trusting and believing that everything has led up to this point, so you're equipped with what you need to in order to conquer whatever task it is.
mm.
That's what it means for me to be fearless.
So, being fearless, and you mentioned something as far as not knowing what's on the other side. Say I am not prepared in that, and I go towards that thing that I'm going towards, and I somehow fail. I don't hit my target. How do I bounce back? How do I become, or how do I remain, or go? And that goes into the next principle, which is being resilient. How do I bounce back?
So a part of being fearless, as you said, you don't know what's on the other side, but if you don't take the step, you won't ever find out what's on the other side.
Mm,
I've had to deal with having to bounce back and things not going according to plan or according to my plan, because I am a planner. I do believe in Teddy Roosevelt's quote, you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
yes,
So
ma'am. Yes,
I'm a
ma'am.
person who really tries to plan things out. And as someone who plans and works and usually achieves where I want to be, I've had times where it's been not yet.
Mm,
And sometimes we get stuck in the not, no does not, no is not no, no is not yet. You
yes.
know, okay, I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't done this yet. And so I will say it's interesting because I watch shows with my kids, and I was watching one show and they were just talking about the power of yet. And I was just like, wow, that's such an amazing story to share with kids. And as adults, we can take that as well because we think it's a hard no and it's just a not yet. My principal role could not have been a more perfect role for me. I've been a high school administrator, high school teacher, but I've always had a love for ninth graders, which are the babies of the high school. And so having the opportunity to then go into middle school and prepare them for what they need, because they too are going to face things that are no, but it's really just not yet. And exercising that patience helps you to be resilient and bounce back from those things because you're thinking, oh my goodness, I've done this. For example, I have made sure I knew all the tasks that needed to be done. I've made sure that I've gotten the appropriate degrees. I've made sure I've gotten the appropriate professional development. I've made sure that if I didn't know something, I asked questions. And that's all a part of the maturation process. And even once you get to the other side, there will still be another place where you will have to bounce back. Like
Wow.
it's a continual process. Like each day you have to be fearless about what you face, because no days are the same. And you wish they would be, but they aren't. They aren't.
Well, the next principle is being intuitive. How does that play a role in being a principal and being resilient as well? Which implies knowing, trusting who you are as a person. How does that play a role?
So I think it plays a role in your core value of honesty. You
Mm,
know, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with others.
mm.
And anyone who knows me will tell you, I will say in a heartbeat, I don't like a liar, because you don't have to lie. You can
Wow.
tell the truth, and we can work through that truth. When you tell the lie, now we have to backtrack, and then we have to find out that it's not true after all. Just be upfront. You know, you can apologize and move forward. And so, in knowing that when you're honest with yourself, that's a part of being intuitive. If you're honest with yourself, what are the things that could be re-examined? That's just something my parents just have always said about me. I'm
Wow.
going to tell the truth, whether you like it or not.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
that helps me to build those relationships, because I'm big on building relationships with others. And that's how you build those relationships, while being honest, being vulnerable. And then you can be intuitive about those decisions that you need to make to ensure that you're fearless. And even when the decision doesn't turn out the way you want it to, you can be resilient and still know which direction to go. Because some people will take it, oh goodness, I've hit this wall, I need to take a different direction. No, you just might need to approach it at a different speed. Get through the wall either way.
Wow. Wow. Great answer. Great answer.
Oh, thank you.
The next principle is being determined. How does being determined play a role? And I'm going to, the two principles is intuitive and determination. How does that play a role in being determined and following your intuition as well?
So in being determined, anyone who has known me, all of my friends, I have friends that, my oldest and dearest friend, we've been friends since we were 2 years old. So before we even knew what friends were like,
Yes, ma'am.
or what a definition of a friend is. But she is my friend. She's my sister. All of my friends. I have a group of friends. We have been friends since high school, and I mean, we are, as the term says, thick as thieves. Like
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
it's us. And so a part of that is knowing yourself and learning from others. I'm a big people watcher. So I will watch what someone has done, what sacrifices people have made in order for me to be here. I always tell people I'm living on the prayers of my grandparents, because I know that those were seeds that they sowed, and now they are flourishing. And I pray and work so that I too can plant those seeds and to see them flourish, even to know that those seeds are still flourishing and growing even after I'm long gone.
Wow.
So a part of that determination is knowing what people have sacrificed for you to be there. How much my dad had to work, how much my stepmom had to work, how much my mom and my stepdad had to work, just to make sure. Like, I always think about when it was time for me to go to college. And I had found this college, and I was like, this is where I want to go. And so my parents divided it up. So my dad and my stepmom took me, and then my mom and my stepdad came and made sure. And the one thing the beauty I have always loved about having 4 parents is it's always been about me and my success.
Wow.
And so then I know, they have poured into me and wanted me to be successful. So I'm determined to show them, the fruits of their labor, because it's the labor that they put in so much. And to have a supportive family who always want to see you do well, who are right there cheering you on, who are there when you cry,
Wow.
and also there when you there went, unfortunately, the other side, the cussing side. You're
Yes,
like,
ma'am. Yes.
well, I mean, sometimes you have to get it out. And so
Yes,
just
ma'am.
be able to know, okay, I know this is what it means to be me. I know this is what it means to be successful. I know what my goal in success is. And the only person that I'm in competition with is myself, because I know what I'm determined to achieve. And so
Absolutely.
that helps you, because if you know yourself, you don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. You're like, okay, that's great. I'm so happy, because if that's happening for someone next to me, that means it's going to happen for me next. And so I try to instill that same thing in my scholars. I tell them, listen, I didn't wake up this age.
Yes, ma'am.
To go through some things in order to get to this place. I remember what it's like to be in middle school, and some things are awkward and you're getting different friends. To have a, I know what it's like to have a genuine chemical imbalance, because you're going through puberty and all of these different hormones, your body is changing, your
Yes.
dynamics in your life are changing. And so just leaning into that change versus resisting it helps you. So once again, be intuitive and be determined to reach those goals that you set out to achieve.
Excellent. Excellent. The next principle is being appreciative, and you expressed a lot as far as towards thinking about your ancestors and things of that nature, and that played a role within your determination. But being appreciative for those things, how do you show appreciation?
So I am a positive person. I'm a glass half full, not glass
Yes,
half empty
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
person. So, I love little quirky things, different puns and plays on words. For instance, everyone knows in education right now, there's a teacher shortage. And so, when I noticed it was National Substitute Week, I was like, oh, I have to do something for my teachers, because they've been subbing for other teachers. And
Yes.
so, we had a sub lunch, and there's no substitute for you.
Mm.
Because without them, school can't continue. Like,
Yes,
I can
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
for all day, but I can't do it without them. And I know that those, once again, the seeds that they are planting, because they are getting up each and every day, making sure that their families are well, so that they can come and give our kids the best that they have to offer, and help those kids to become the best that they can be. So
Wow.
even just pulling someone to the side and saying, thank you. It doesn't cost anything to tell somebody thank you. And
Wow.
so just telling them thank you is so big. I know, and it means a lot, because you never know. I had one of my I was a cheerleading coach for 10 years.
Wow.
Um, and so in those 10 years, I've had over 100 girls. And so I had this one young lady. I was having a rough day at work. Last school year, I was having a rough day at work. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what in the world? What is going on? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yes,
And
ma'am. Yes,
I really impacting the effective change. And so she called me, and my secretary, who was awesome, and someone who really helped to build me up. She was like, listen, I got a phone call for you. You got to take it. I was like, okay. She's like, no, you really need it. You're in your office. Let me know in your office. I was like, okay, because we're on the radio. So
yes, ma'am.
in my office, the young lady, I answered the phone. Hi, I was just calling. You remember me? It's such and such. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I just want to thank you for really instilling the qualities in me that you knew I needed to be in order for a lady. I always addressed them as ladies. I was like,
Yes, yes.
ladies. I would
Yeah.
yell at them and mock me. She said, but I thank you, because at that time you were an awesome role model. I was living with my grandmother. She was helping me, and I really believe that it takes a village to raise a family. So I'm all
Yes,
in your
ma'am.
business, I'm all a part of your family.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so just for her to say, I thank you for setting those boundaries and telling me my grades that I was a student athlete, that I was a student before I was an athlete, and really sticking and staying true to those things. And then even telling me, listen, I got to put you off the team, but I'm here
Wow.
if you ever need me.
Uh-huh.
Because these are the rules that you broke, and we worked on them, and you still did not follow through with your obligation. And
Wow.
so just to hear that, I was in my office bawling.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
because because it It was over 10 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
So I haven't seen her since she was my cheerleader, because I've now been in education for over 18 years.
Wow.
Um, so actually it probably was over 13 years ago
My
since
God.
I've seen or talked to her. So for her to hunt, and I've been at 5 schools since then. So
Yes,
for
ma'am.
her to track me down and know where I was and call me, tell me morning, I was just like, appreciation goes so far, because you never know in that moment. Just that thank you from her. It
Yeah.
was so genuine. Just that thank you goes so far. So being appreciative of your experiences, because your life experiences shape who you are. So you appreciate those, and you're able to do those things, not only for the people who are in your life day to day, but those who are around you, period. And so then that just I promise that gave me the fuel that I needed. Like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I don't have to see it to know that I'm doing the right thing, because something will come to show me I am.
Wow. 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 Well, the next principle is being youthful. And that is the last principle, being youthful. How do you stay youthful?
I stay youthful by laughing. I I love
Me
to
too.
laugh. I love to joke. Because and then I don't even laugh at myself. Because if you can't laugh at yourself, then you take things too seriously. It's too much stress. Like you release a lot of endorphins when you laugh and when you're happy, which goes along with my positivity, because there are so many things. There's so much research and science that says when people don't have laughter and joy, how that impacts your health.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Absolutely.
so just remaining youthful. I have 3 small children who are 6 and under, and running after them. And sometimes I just have to look at them, and my daughter is a semi mini me, and sometimes my husband calls her a mirror, because she's a
Yes, ma'am.
reflection of what her
Wow. Wow.
mom
Wow.
does.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
think being youthful, and then just remembering, I often have my faculty and staff. Um, I ask them, okay, when you were 11 through age 14, who who made the biggest impact in your life? What did you really, 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 really want? And your
Mm,
parents said no.
wow.
Um, or what friends did you have, and are they your friends now? So
Mm,
it's helping them to remember, because sometimes you have to be in the place of the youth to understand them.
yes.
Like, of course we look from our lens, especially when it comes to relationships. Oh, you'll have 20 boyfriends, you're trying to tell them, but they aren't there, so they can't get there. They can't see
Yes, ma'am.
that other side. So then you have to remember what it was like to you, and share, with them. Hey, I remember, I thought that was gonna be my boyfriend, or I thought we were gonna be best friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you think
Yes, ma'am.
all of these things, but just because it doesn't happen the way you want it to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So I
Absolutely.
think that's a part of being youthful, is knowing and having that expectant heart that, okay, it my grandmother would always say, keep living. So you keep
Absolutely.
living, and you
Keep living.
keep living, and keep laughter, and everything will work out the way it's supposed to work
Absolutely.
out for you.
Absolutely. Well, the last and final question is, out of these principles, being fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful, which one sticks out to you the most and why?
Appreciative sticks out to me the most, because no one has to do anything that they do for you.
Mm,
So you have to be thankful for any seeds that are sown, um, and what fruits are bared from those seeds. And so I'm just always appreciative. I'm appreciative. I'm even appreciative of the parents I've worked with,
mm,
just to kind of see that, just to see something different from what I saw growing up, how involved they were in their children's lives. All of those things shape and impact how I conduct myself. And so
mm.
I'm just appreciative of those experiences. So appreciation is big to me, because as long as you are thankful, like what you put out, you get back in. Um,
Absolutely.
so in being thankful, it just continues to help that recycling, um, of your success.
Absolutely. 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 Great answer and a great interview. Thank you for coming in and taking time out of your busy schedule to do this interview. I know this is going to help a lot of people, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for having this, because I think a lot of people don't know, even breaking it down that way, breaking it down into those 6 principles are so it's awesome, because I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, I never really thought about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Of how those different acronyms and how you can utilize those acronyms, because everybody's happy for Friday,
Yes,
but what does that really mean? So thank you.
absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you. And you have an excellent day, okay?
You too. Thanks.